The customer, which will be unusual, even if they give you a lowball number. I mean, the truck's going to be worth more than 15 grand, I'm guessing, at the end of 5 years. You could do one of two things. You could either do what Chucky did and use his number, because you're still going to reduce the net payment by $250, or you could say, well, based on the American Leasing Guide, KBB and Edmunds, they say the residual on this truck should be about 42%. Okay? And by the way, to keep it nice, it could be worth more. If you crash it and trash it, it could be worth less. Which both of those things are the absolute truth. And then use that number, which would be, what, 40% of 40 some odd $1,000?
20 something, 20.
Yeah, so, well, it'd be about 17 grand. So he wasn't off by much. But hell, if you reduce the payment by $100, all we're trying to do is get the customer to justify it in their own mind. He can afford it. You've done the right, we put him on the right truck. He's just doing what a customer's supposed to do. Now, we've got to set it up a little bit stronger. How do we set it up? Bobby, everybody knows trucks depreciate, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Most people don't know that there's a savings element to every truck payment you'll ever make. Let me show you. Okay? Because now, do you think you piqued their attention? I can tell you what happens in real life. What the hell are you talking about? Savings element to a car payment. I said, yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, if you've ever been to a financial planner, they will always tell you that if you don't put yourself up at the top when you're trying to save money, if you wait till the end of the month to see what's left to save money, will you ever save any money? No, you need to put yourself up at the top. Guess what? We're putting you at the very top. Let me show you how. All right? You're going to write a check for $692. You're going to write it 60 times. Now, most people don't think about writing a check to a lender for a truck as a savings plan, but it absolutely is. Because at the end of that period, when you've made that last payment, Bobby, what comes back to you in the mail?
My title.
It's a title that looks just like this. And what do you think that truck will be worth in 5 years?
About 17, 18 maybe.
Hey, let's use 15, okay? That means you're going to have a piece of paper, and this is a good analogy to draw right here, especially for a customer who's got some wherewithal and may have actually bought a share of stock sometime in their lives, okay? You guys got a Cadillac store. What percentage of your Cadillac customers do you think own stock? Probably all of them, okay? They'll get this. So what comes back in the mail is basically a $15,000 piece of paper that's no different than a share of stock, Bobby. After all, you could trade this, you could sell it, you could even borrow against it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just like a share of stock. Now, a share of IBM stock's about $260. This is a share of Chevy Silverado stock. It's 15 grand. So, if it's 15 grand, all right, if we divide that by 60, what is that number? And that number comes out to be $250. Here's the way the cash flows. You write a check for $692. $250 of it every single month is going towards your title. Only $492 is going towards you driving that truck. So your net payment's $492. Do not hesitate here. I need your okay right here. You can't hesitate. If you go, how's that sound? What do you think? Makes sense, doesn't it? No. If it doesn't make sense, guess what? You'll find out real quickly. Okay? They won't hook up. You'll know it didn't make sense to them. You'll know you got to go another step. You were trying to go. Who was trying to go to the tax credit, Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'd say, look, Bobby, if a payment of $492 for this truck doesn't make sense to you, or $442, because that's what it would be, $452. Guess what? When you trade this truck in, do me a favor, multiply 15 grand by 7%.
$1,050.
Divide that by 60 for me.
$1,750.
Okay, I'm going to round it down to 17. That means your payment is going down, your net payment is $435. Divide $435 by 30.
or 145.
1450?
Yeah, 1450.
1450. Bobby, I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do, but if I walked up to you on the street, pointed out that brand-new Silverado that you just picked out and said, how would you like to drive that thing for $14.50 a day, what would you say? I need you to say, yeah, right there. It's called reduced to the ridiculous. It's a close that's been around as long as closes have been around. Why don't we use them? $14.50 to drive a $43,000 Silverado. I'm driving a piece of shit Ford something right now. I'm paying $59 a day for it. Compared to a rental car for a customer. You know why we don't close more deals? We don't ask enough. Our salespeople don't have enough to say. We can give them more to say, but we have to learn it first. Each one of you has gotten better just by watching each other. Your presentation was just north of disastrous, okay? But it was north of disastrous.